first year, the 40-year-old head coach of the Pelicans.
Remember, this team started 1-12. 1-12, 3-16 at one point, and the message never changed.
You guys can feel it, right? Get your freaking hands up. This is what we live for. This is what we worked hard for. Okay, we ain't giving it up. We are not freaking giving this up. You gotta freaking fight. You gotta fight.
And Sam just said it. When he saw that clip, he was ready to come play for you.
Chris, put me in the game, coach. Nah, you too old and sorry. You can't get in the game.
That's the head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, also known as Detroit's Willie Green. That's Coach of the Year, Sam Mitchell. I'm that other guy, Chris Miles. Welcome to NBA Finals Film Room, presented by YouTube TV. Again, the NBA Finals tied at 1 game apiece after Golden State Warriors won Game 2. That's a team that you won 2 championships with as an assistant coach. How happy are you or excited to see your former players, your former coach back in the finals?
Well, I wish we could be in the finals playing against a really good Eastern Conference team. But if we're not, I'm definitely happy for Golden State, Steve Kerr, all of my guys are still there, and it's going to be exciting.
Well, as every coach says, I've heard you say it over and over again, first order of business, take care of the basketball. The Celtics had 19 turnovers in that game, too. Coach Ime Udoka has said his number is 12. You see, that's where the Golden State Warriors were with their turnovers to try to keep it under that. Boston allowed 33 points off turnovers, gave the ball away 7 times in that first quarter. Sam, how did Golden State's defense set the tone right out of the gate?
Well, I just think what Golden State did, Coach, they just took advantage of Boston and what they like to do. Look, they know Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are very, very aggressive scorers. They know those guys always think they have an advantage. And what Golden State did was they just took advantage of it. They let Tatum and Brown get to those tough situations where they thought they could split double teams, where they can make plays like they did in Game 1. And it wasn't there. And if you watch Golden State, what they was doing, every time Tatum and Brown turned their back or drove to the basket, they had their hands in there reaching for the ball, and the officials are letting them play a little bit. I like the way the game is being officiated. Look, Tatum and Brown, as good as they are, and Coach will tell you this, he got some great players. It's always that fine line of how much is too much and how little is too little.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Golden State did a really good job of the first order of business of playing harder. They came out and they set the tone early. A part of that was their defensive rotations, being up in guys, and it forced Boston to 19 turnovers.
And I thought Gary Payton, the third, him picking up Tatum, the second, I'm sorry. Excuse me, GP. The second, picking up full court, that changed the game. And Coach will tell you this, he's a guard. Anytime you got a guard and you got one that'll pick up 94 feet, it's just disrupt the flow of everything you're trying to do.
He has one in Jose Alvarado that does that.
Absolutely.
But let's focus on Golden State and what they did against the Celtics in that first quarter. Take us through some of those plays.
So you can see here, as Marcus Smart pushes the ball, Klay Thompson is in, knowing that he's guarding Al Horford, which leads to a turnover. Here it is again. This time White has it. Okay, Steph Curry, really good. Close out, swing. And then you can see Draymond Green as the low man. He goes, Porter covers him, another turnover. So once again, screen, switch here. Steph Curry does a really good job of staying shifted. Probably got away with a foul, but once again, turnover, which fuels their transition opportunities. They get the ball up to Steph, shot fake, wide open 3. And then here's another clip here. Smart drives. Watch Bielisa here. Okay, screen happens. He's down there helping. We talked about getting Gary Payton back. Well, this is what he does. He gets his hand on the basketball. Another opportunity for Golden State to get out in transition. Open shot for Jordan Poole, and then offensive rebound. These are the things that Boston Celtics has to stay away from, the live ball turnovers.
Yeah, when I see those turnovers, what I don't see are assists. I know that's an obvious thing, Sam, but when I go down the Boston Celtics roster and I look at what guys did in Game 1, Al Horford, 26 points in Game 1, just 4 shots in Game 2. Marcus Smart, just 2 points as well. Sam, how did the Golden State Warriors take those guys out of the game as opposed to just limiting Tatum and Brown?
Well, I don't think they necessarily, Coach, took those guys out of the game. Look at the shot attempts. You go from 12 to 4. You go from Marcus Smart. He got 11 field goals to 6. I think Tatum and Brown was being more aggressive. Look, you want your stars on this stage to try to take over. and be aggressive, but it's that fine line of trying to do too much. And I think for Al Horford and others, they got to get their opportunities in the flow of the offense. Ime Udoka is not going to call a play for these guys. It's imperative that Tatum and Brown not only score, but make sure they keep the ball moving to get the other teammates involved.
That's a great word you just used, because for us that didn't play in the league, didn't coach in the league, you hear terms like flow, you hear terms like force. And I think in this game in particular, we saw that a lot. For Jason Tatum, the flow came from three-point range. He was 6 for 9 from outside. I had 21 points at the half, 28 points in the game. Coach, can you explain to us how those points and those shots came within the flow of the offense?
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Tatum is a guy that we know he's going to score. We know he's going to have the ball in his hands. However, he wants to get the ball, and we want him to get the ball where he can shoot the ball with the flow. And most of the time for Boston, that's playing fast. They want to get the ball over half court. He's capable of coming down, shooting pull-up threes. He can come off ball screens. You can see here, step back three. He can get anything he wants, anytime he wants, but it's about playing in the flow of the game.
Now, the force, Sam, we can look at the same player and see where that goes awry. Jason Tatum, 2 for 9 inside of the arc in the first half. Some of those shots were not as easy as he seemed to force it a bit.
Well, Flip Saunders had a favorite saying was the same thing that makes you great can also come back and hurt you. And Jason Tatum, the greatness of him and Brown is the fact that they can play in a crowd. But also, it's tough, man. When you're a great player, you make a few shots, tough shots early, that can be a bad sign because you're going to keep doing it because you are used to making tough shots. And you look at these plays right now against a double team with Wiggins and Draymond. You look at these tough shots in transition that Golden State is contesting. And then you look at every time he put the ball on the floor, Golden State had 1, 2, sometimes 3 defenders reaching in, trying to deflect that ball and kick it away. Because, again, 33 points off live turnovers. When you turn the ball over and the other team can score without having to take it out on the side, it's hard to come back and win games when you turn it over like that.
Yeah, and for Jason Tatum, we've talked about it all year. You're always looking at his assists. He had 13 assists in that first game, and here we saw the shot attempts of 28 points, but we're not talking about his assists here on Finals Film Room because they weren't as big of a story in Game 2. You know who was a big story?
Who was that?
Jordan Poole decided to splash a little bit, become the splash cousin, the third splash brother, whatever you want to call it. He got his mojo back.
You're watching Finals Film Room, brought to you by YouTube TV. Everything live TV should be. Try it free.
Curry working against Horford, took his ankles. Not ready to give him back either. Thompson with the hezzy. Bucket.
Golden State leads by 10.
So far, the Warriors looking like they're starting to put together one of those patented prolific third quarters.
Well, they did that in Game 1 as well. A terrific third quarter. They just couldn't stave off an onslaught that the Celtics gave them in the fourth.
What Boston did in the second half, fourth quarter the other night, we knew we had to come with a much better focus and sense of aggression, and I thought that started right from the beginning.
Golden State trying to close out this third quarter better than they did in Game 1. Curry cooking a colossal three.
They lead by 17.
And it's fallen apart for Udoka and the Celtics.
That's a disappointing quarter, of course. Had our opportunities, came out, jumped out up 9 early, and then turnovers started happening, let them back in the game, and just kind of blew it open.
Blew with the ball, launches. Oh, money!
87-64 as we go to the fourth quarter, and 19-2 third quarter explosion for Golden State.
Warriors went full Warriors in that third quarter. You see it on your screen. They made 7 threes, outscored the Celtics 35-14. Coach Green, you've been in that locker room at halftime when you're ready to come out for the third quarter with the Golden State Warriors. How are they able to have these third quarters like this? This is just par for the course for them.
The Warriors' offensive foundation is built off speed and movement. As you can see here as this film plays, let it go. The kick-ahead pass initiates it, right? So the ball gets up here, and then once it touches Draymond's hands, frees it here, now he becomes the point guard. And now the movement starts. You got Steph on one side, you got Klay on one side, let it play. Pin down for Klay Thompson, wide open three. Okay, this is what they want. Secondly, 1A, 1B, whatever we want to call it, is get Steph Curry open. You can see here, screen by Gary Payton, welcome back. Freezer here, you can see Al Horford is in a drop, let it play. Grant Williams, probably not the rotation you want, but really good play on Curry, swing, big time open three in the corner. This leads to their big third quarter. And then lastly, now they have the momentum. They're playing hard, they're playing with joy, playing with fun, playing fast. It leads to Jordan Poole hitting shots like this. Shot goes up, splash, third splash, brother. Big time third quarter, 35-14.
Yeah, great plays by the Golden State Warriors. We always see something we didn't see in those clips. Steph Curry in this series. The Celtics have had that drop coverage 31 times in these two games. It's over 15 times a game. It's not what you want to do against Steph Curry, right?
No, not with Steph. He's too good of a shooter. You have to be 2-3 steps above the three-point line when he's coming over. And then when they set those high picks, Boston has to do a better job of having an understanding of what they want to do. A lot of times Horford is in a drop and he needs to be up to touch. They need to blitz him, take the ball out of his hands, force other guys to have to make plays. But he's coming off these threes and he's getting wide open looks, and this is what you want to take away.
Yeah, when we think of Steph Curry, we don't necessarily think of a pick and roll player, but he is absolutely destroying the Celtics in this series that way. And he's getting help in this game too, at least, from Jordan Poole. Sam, what was the difference between game 1 and game 2 for Poole? Even, more so later in the game, he seemed to find his rhythm, hit those 5 threes, also had 3 assists and 2 steals.
I think in game 1, Jordan Poole let the fact that Boston kind of picked on him, his lack of size offensively, they kind of went at home. And I think he got more wrapped up in that and started trying to be more physical on defense. That's not who he is. Jordan Poole is a scorer. And we saw in game 2 what he did was, look, he's going to give up some points on the defensive end, but on offense, this is when he makes it up. They got to get him going. They got to keep him aggressive. And for Jordan Poole, if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm telling him, look, just play as hard as you can on defense, man to man. Let your teammates help you. But on offense, play Golden State Warriors offense. Pass, cut, move without the ball. And when you get a chance to let that fly, you let it fly. Because, again, they can't spend enough time trying to attack Jordan Poole because he can come back at them offensively. Some that when Coach and I played, our coaches didn't have the foresight to give us that green light like that.
But when you played, the kind of guys we're going to talk about next were the guys that got all the glory like you, Sam, those will guys. Guys who played hard. My Herb Jones, my Jose Alvarado type players. Hey, the Golden State Warriors don't get this win without Kevon Looney and the way that he played. 6 for 6 from the field, also 3 steals and a block. It's not just about that. It's about the action that he provided as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Golden State is a team that we know Steph Curry, we know Klay Thompson, Wiggins, those guys who can get their looks. But it's Kevon Looney, it's Draymond, it's, like you said, Coach, Jordan Poole, those guys getting extra looks, using Steph Curry's gravity to get open looks. And then when they're on the floor, they just make the simple play every time on both ends of the floor. You can see here, Kevon comes up with the big block, going the other way. Big time plays by these guys.
And you have to, as a big player on this team, you have to make yourself available. Coach, you know this. Sometimes the big guys hide behind others. They can't get open. But Draymond Green and Kevon Looney did a great job of finding them gaps. And not only when they found those gaps, they finished.
Yeah, absolutely, to see those guys step up in that way. So for you, Sam, what's the biggest thing you think for the Warriors for Game 3 they need to do to keep this momentum?
They got to bring that same energy. They got to do what Coach said. They got to get the rebound. They got to head man the ball. And when the ball gets in Draymond's hand to activate that offense, everybody's got to be cutting, slashing, setting screens, and moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I need that rock back because you know where we're going next, Sam.
Where we going?
We're going to go on the court. See? Detroit's Willie Green.
With Canes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those from Columbus, Georgia. We may be slow, but we ain't that slow.
Absolutely. Up next on NBA Finals Film Room, presented by YouTube TV, we take it to the court. The nice pass inside to Kevon Looney, the unsung hero for the Golden State Warriors.
You're watching Finals Film Room, brought to you by YouTube TV. Everything live TV should be. Try it free.
We've all heard the jokes about Draymond Green having that triple single. Well, that's what he did in game 2. 9, 7, 5, 1 steal and 1 block. Not stats that jump off the page at you. But just like you, Coach, that last name Green, hailing from the state of Michigan, Draymond set the tone in the first quarter with his physicality, and that's much bigger than what we call the triple single.
Yeah, he did. Draymond, he's a guy that understands his role. And his role is that he's their emotional leader. He did a great job coming out from the beginning, setting the tone from the start, and we saw that with the jump ball from Al Horford.
Now, speaking of setting the tone, whoever has the ball controls the next segment. Sam, you're up. Golden
You're
State.
not getting it back because I'm greedy.
Golden State, known for the Splash Brothers, hitting outside shots. Well, they got that from Steph Curry and Jordan Poole. Each hit 5 threes, but the points in the paint is where Golden State dominated game 2, 40-24. Sam, how is that?
And Chris, you know this, and Coach, you know this. You have a center in Jonas Valanciunas that can score in the paint, but Golden State does a little bit different. They don't have a guy that can post up in the paint with his back to the basket and score, but they do it a lot of different ways. Watch this clip right here, Draymond Green. Shows you how important. Watch Steph Curry. Now, he has the switch and the advantage on Al Horford, but Al Horford is not going to give Steph Curry in the room to shoot the 3. Andrew Wiggins leaves the strong side to take Marcus Smart away. Now, watch Steph Curry. When he sees this and he attacks Al Horford, look at the defense. Right here, Gary Payton III cutting, Andrew Wiggins cutting. You can only take one Jaylen Brown. Andrew Wiggins slips in the back for an easy layup. That's points in the paint. Here we are again, Draymond Green. Look at this action over here, freeze it. Everybody is so concerned about this corner offense Golden State runs. Steph Curry drags 2 defenders with him because he's so dangerous. Now watch Draymond Green. Ooh, Kevon Looney is wide open. Easy layup. The defense makes a mistake, all because Steph Curry is moving. Here we go again. Here's Steph Curry again with the basketball. Look at the defense here. Draymond Green at top. As Steph Curry bottoms out and comes to the wing, Golden State loves to run these DHOs. Al Horford gets lazy. Marcus Smart is not playing his man because he's ball watching. Draymond Green sneaks in there, keeps it on that DHO for easy layup. And last but not least, Steph Curry at his best. As coaches, Coach, we always say don't play in the crowd. We don't, but if you're Steph Curry and you can split the defender with that crossover dribble and split those 2 and lay it in the basket, that's how you score. So, Chris, there's a lot of ways to get points in the paint other than playing with your back to the basket, and the Golden State Warriors put a clinic on last night.
Yeah, and Steph Curry averages 6 assists for his career in the finals. But as Sam just pointed out, he's much bigger than that in how he helps the offense to score, particularly in the paint.
Yeah, definitely. Steph is a guy that is always moving without the basketball. His gravity makes other defenders have to go to him. And then you see when the ball touches Draymond, he's an automatic connector to the game. So he's going to find the next play. Him and Looney, they do a really good job of doing that on the basketball floor, and they get open looks because of Steph's gravity.
And it wasn't just inside the paint. Steph Curry still hit 5 threes, like I said. Jordan Poole as well. Coming up next to end this here program, Steph Curry and the Warriors connecting from outside. So what's up for Game 3? Before every NBA Finals game, watch your new favorite show, NBA Bet.
Why is that our favorite show? Because you host it?
That's correct, sir.
That's why there's a lot of people losing money, baby.
Well, our experts give advice to all of your plays before the game starts. We are live from the NBA Finals. Remember to catch all of the coverage before and after each game right here on NBA TV, live from Boston, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And, of course, the game is at 9. And you can watch your post-game press conferences on NBA TV as well. But getting back to Game 2 and making adjustments for Game 3, Coach, let's start with you. Those other guys, the role players, the 3 guys that scored 65 combined in Game 1, only had 16 in Game 2. How does Boston get those guys involved more in Game 3 in Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White?
Well, number one, Boston has to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. That's extra shots for those guys. And then when they have shots, they got to take them and make them. And I thought Boston turned the ball over too many times, especially their live ball turnovers. So, once again, Game 3, they have to do a better job playing faster, getting those guys open looks, and not having to score against Golden State's defense.
Yeah, Al Horford, the same amount of misses in Game 2 as he had in Game 1, 26 points down to 2.
But, Chris, what you notice about those 3 guys, they're all excellent players, but they're not shot creators. You have to create an opportunity for them. Yeah, Marcus Smart and White sometimes can get in the paint and do some things, but they need Tatum and Brown to set the table for them to make the game easy. In game one, look at Tatum, 13 assists, Brown moving the ball. They didn't play in crowd and traffic. They moved the ball, and those guys got wide open shots. Game two, Golden State got up into them a little bit, and Tatum and Brown their eyes got big. They got a little greedy. And, Coach, you know this. You coach some great players. That fine line between when do I go and when do I pull those great players back? Because to them, they're always open, Coach. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Brown and Tatum are both really good isolation players, and they can play in isolation. But when you get to the finals, it's about ball movement, player movement. And in game one, they had 33 assists. Game two, 24 assists. So like to see that assist number get a little higher.
Well, on the thing that you won't see on the stat sheet, Draymond Green. We know what it's like in Boston when that crowd gets after a player. We saw it in round one versus Kyrie Irving. Sam, a playoff game, Draymond Green in Boston. Do you think that'll have any effect on the game?
No, I think if you're Draymond Green, you live for that. You love it. First of all, he played at Michigan State, and he's from Michigan. So them guys from Michigan, they hard, man. And I like being the villain coach on the road. I like when the home crowd is coming down on me because at the end of the day, it's me and my teammates against the world.
Absolutely. Draymond is built for this. Like you said, he's from Michigan. That's what Michiganders do. But he's been in a number of big games, played in a number of finals games, and Golden State, Draymond, the rest of the crew, they'll look forward to going to Boston.
I tell you one thing, Chris, the Boston Celtics better not be talking about Draymond Green and this stuff. They better be focused on moving the ball, not turning it over. Because if they're focused on Draymond and his antics, they're going to be down 2-1.
Well, Sam, you know at the end of the show, we always got to make a shot. We're going to run a play for Coach Detroit's Willie Green.
Well, hey, it's like when I got on him, like, he didn't tell you the story. At the Chicago pre-draft camp, I was coaching Coach Green, and he just reminded me that I got on him early, so he better make this shot. So I tell you what we're going to do. Coach, you have the ball, and Chris guarding you because I know he can't guard anybody. Right, so I'm going to set this easy screen like they do for Steph, and you come off this screen and knock it down. Oh, I hit him hard.
Oh, man. Good
I hit him hard. Like I told you, baby, Detroit basketball.
Thank you for hanging out with us on NBA Finals.
I got to put that wood on you, boy.
Strong,
you soft, Chris.